Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the Doctor himself.
Hello.
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC. Well,
Did you lose your place?
Yeah, to catch up. Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC. What a fielding question from listeners like you.
That was good.
There we go.
I was actually impressed with your diction.
I was trying. You're always impressed with my diction.
Or should I say, your Richardson?
Oh, that's why we get paid the big bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good Lord. I was like listening to a podcast today, and it was somebody we clearly's never done one before. Okay. And it was so painful to listen to because they like didn't have the they didn't have the desperate need to fill the air.
Right. Well, you know, this is a thing. People who are starting podcasts, the point is just to do it and put it out there. You'll get better at it over time. But yes, the mark of someone that's maybe doing it for the first time is just like, I mean, we definitely have dead air. Sometimes I just stare at you and I hate what you've said. But you edit it out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, no, we don't.
Oh, sorry. I mean, we never have dead air.
Yeah, we never have dead air.
Everything you say is perfect, Richard. But that is kind of the mark of like maybe like a new podcast. I'm sure even if you listen to early episodes of ours, don't do it.
Don't.
But if you do, I'm sure that's in there.
Yeah. I think I've been cutting it out since day one, but I mean, whatever.
We were just bad. There's no excuses. It wasn't the dead air. It was just us.
There was dead air. We just got rid of it at a certain point.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. So aggressive.
Oh, let's talk about the news. We got a few interesting pieces of news this week. That's right. Coming in
on the wire.
On the wire. Let's put your ear to the ground. Let's see what's going on the street. What you got to say, Jimmy?
Your like old timey voice is very slowly becoming a hillbilly voice.
Yeah, what you got there, Jimmy?
And then Cajun.
Oh, you know you like that news down there. I'm sorry, what was that?
I can't do the Cajun
voice. Like it was heading towards like East Indian a little bit, and I was getting concerned.
I've got to steer away from any dangerous territory.
My favorite thing, there's a Mean Boys thing where they do an East Indian accent and they try to say the word McGriddle.
I'm not going to do it right now. That would be too offensive.
Yeah, but it's very, very funny.
Jesus.
If you don't think it's funny, try to do it and then say it's very fun.
My apologies to East India.
Oh, it's nothing against that.
Or just India for people that know that the West Indies are the Caribbean.
I like those trading companies. Well, first piece of news: Superman and Batman are uniting in a new series.
That's right. There's a new Batman Superman book coming out, and it's meant to, like everything else seems to, involve the Batman Who Laughs and the Dark Multiverse. I think we might see some Dark Multiverse versions of Superman through this series, and there'll be a little bit more sort of Dark Multiverse exploration there, which is pretty cool.
They're supposed to be investigating some massive DCU conspiracy.
Yeah, and we don't know too much more than that, but yeah, I mean the fact that it's tied to that, we know that Scott Snyder is currently writing the Batman Who Laughs miniseries, which just got an extra issue added. It was supposed to be 6, and now it's 7. And we know that the 3 sort of pieces of the multiverse, the positive matter multiverse, the antimatter universe, and the dark multiverse are all playing a part in what's unfolding in Justice League right now with the Legion of Doom. Like all of these things that were set up in Metal are expanding and they're adding. So it makes sense that DC is kind of doubling down and like, let's do more exploring, because we really just explored like the Batman portions of the dark multiverse. So, you know, getting to see different versions of like it'd be neat to see like the different combos, right? What's like a Superman Brainiac sort of pairing or a Superman parasite or whatever, all those kind of things. So yeah, that's coming maybe in July or something like that, or August.
I think that
I don't remember
is,
offhand.
but it doesn't say in the article that I found.
Yeah, I don't think it's in the July solicitation, so it's probably after that. It's probably August.
Probably. Next piece of news. Ooh, have you seen this yet? The second Pennyworth trailer?
There's a second trailer.
Yeah, we should watch it. We can watch it right now. Oh, damn.
I really need this job, Mr. Wayne. I'm begging you.
Oh, God, I need this job. I really need this job. Please, God, I've got to get this job.
Wait a minute.
I've got
Are
to
you
get
doing chorus line?
I've got to get
Jesus
it.
Christ.
How many boys? How many girls?
I always forget that you know chorus line for some weird reason.
I got to get it. I hope I get it. How many people does he need?
Yeah, I mean, the trailer's still... Yeah, we see Thomas Wayne in it, and Pennyworth's obviously on some sort of clandestine mission, but...
I kind of love it already.
It looks good, but, like, I just don't understand why it has to be Alfred.
Well,
like, why aren't we just making, like, a cool, like, 60s spy
because
show?
now you can tie it into DC in some way, and that's fucking rad. As long as there's nothing to do, I don't want it to do with anything to do with Batman. But
well, this is what we said about Gotham, and look how that went.
I know, but this, yeah. Could you imagine? It's just like suddenly there's a British Joker. Like,
I was trying to think of what a British laugh sounds like, and I can't oh yeah, just like the polite.
Yes.
Like, it's like not scary at all.
That's the instead of Robin, it's like Nigel.
Alfred and Nigel.
Yeah, that's right. I honestly, I'm into this. I mean, the Thomas Wayne thing's kind of cool. You know what I'm hoping it's kind of like is the Agent Carter.
Sure, yeah.
Something where it's like you just get a sort of tinge of an outside world of sort of insanity. Yeah. But I mean, there's DC, like this looks like it's like 50s, 60s, right?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it looks like Queen Elizabeth, so it's at least like partway through the 50s.
So do you think maybe we'll get some like some characters from England around that time period that we might be able to?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about characters who were like of any sort of relevance who might also have been alive. You're talking about characters like Ra's al Ghul.
Oh yeah,
Vandal Savage. You're talking about some of the more like immortal, long-lived.
But I mean, isn't there ones. Like a?
Because I think at being that far back, you'd be dealing with like, oh, my name is like Hieronymus Crane. I hope one day my grandson's name is Jonathan, or like.
Yeah,
like you're too many generations removed.
I mean,
although I also said that about Krypton. Oh, fuck. But Krypton is a time travel story. Krypton is like Terminator.
There could be a time traveler in this. I mean, that's not...
It doesn't really look like that's what this is doing.
No.
That would be a huge twist if that's what this is doing.
Yeah. I think...
it does look good. I'll probably watch it. Who are we kidding? But I just don't know why it's not... Free yourself of the shackles of having to put everyone in their Batman starting positions and just make a cool 50s British spy show.
I think they are, but it's just going to have some... It's DC, so you're going to get some DC stuff in there.
I guess.
I think that you're going to maybe get some precursors.
You can maybe get like some post-war stuff, maybe with like the Blackhawks or Sergeant Flag, or maybe some stuff like people that he maybe fought alongside in the war. You could maybe some of those war comic characters.
Yeah. Oh, something. Yeah. Exactly. That would be really rad.
Yeah. I mean, those are the easiest. I mean, the show writers, they will decide what connections they can make or what amendments or stretches or timeline changes they want to make. But like, if you're just going like literally like era to era, what are some easy jumps? Those are some.
I'm assuming there's going to be some people's parents. I think that seems like an obvious thing, right?
Yeah, probably.
But it seems like this could be a sort of backdoor information about the Waynes, which...
Well, yeah, I mean, I wonder if this show will... I don't know if Gotham actually did this or not. If the show will go the route of like, are the Waynes embroiled inside? It's not a thing I like, but like...
It's an interesting take, and it doesn't take away from.
But
all
if you're
the
bothering
stuff, right?
to make like Alfred Begins, you might as well get more of the Wayans.
Let's be honest, that's already been made. I mean, they're going to be they have to clearly make a very different show because they don't want to obviously be associated with something that has already existed and is wildly popular.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So.
They do not want to pay our expensive royalties.
Oh, I mean, God, it's off the charts, the pricing for that. Well, unbelievable. Well, let's watch another trailer.
Okay.
Because one that I have not seen, you probably already have. I've seen a teaser, but I have not seen the first trailer for Swamp Thing.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
So let's definitely see that because I have not watched this. And it's one that I actually can watch. Good. Oh, God, I need this swamp. Damn.
Yeah, do you think they're leading into the horror genre at all?
Holy shit. It looks like it could be the next James Wan horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer hits all those beats, right? There's no dialogue, but, you get, like, the echoey screams and, the point of view camera in the muck. You see some sort of vines and roots and stuff, which I suspect aren't Alec Holland. I suspect that's the Floronic Man.
Yeah, some of those shots like two different people,
where it looks like an autopsy, and then it's kind of coming back. I suspect that might be the Floronic Man.
That is
Jason Woodrue.
Freaky looking.
It looks very scary. You see a quick shot of the Blue Devil mask because Blue Devil's going to be in that show. You see, there's like a guy wearing a pig face. There's like a few
classic horror tropes.
Well, there's enough of the sort of idea of like death and decay, and we know that Abby Arcane is in it. That like we're probably setting up Anton Arcane, even if he's not necessarily like in the first season. We're probably setting up the Rot and sort of Swamp Things.
Welcome to the Rot.
Oh my God, Sean Connery as Anton Arcane. I am there for that.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Close the swamp point if you're coming in.
Wrong Arcane.
I am the swamp. That's just Judge Dredd.
It's called Enswampment. That's all I got.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you expect me to swamp?
No, I expect you to swamp.
DC Execs, we have your tagline.
Yeah.
For season 2.
Yeah.
Do you expect me to swamp?
No, I expect you to swamp.
Chills.
No, wait.
Chills.
Do you expect me to swamp? No, I expect you to thing.
That's the one.
There it is.
Are you excited? Are you going to watch that one?
Yeah. I'm actually more excited for that than I have been for Doom Patrol, which I have not finished still.
You're not as into Doom Patrol as you were Titans.
No.
I mean, we'll save the full review sort of thing, but just generally.
Yeah, I think it also helps that my wife isn't as much into it, and so it's not somebody like pushing to watch it every night. So,
Right. See, I really like Doom Patrol.
I like a lot of it.
And it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And they haven't shied away from anything, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. James Gunn finally breaks his silence this week for the Suicide Squad. We got a bunch of updates.
Yeah, so the one, I don't know if we already talked about it, but like we maybe talked about it this last week. John Cena possibly for Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name, but he's in Ant-Man and he's in The Dark Knight for Polka Dot Man.
That's
What's
right.
His name? His last name is like I always want to say Dalmatian, but it's not Dalmatian.
Dalmatian.
Yeah.
They smell.
He's like the Eastern European guy on Ant-Man's crew. Yeah. So for him for Polka Dot Man, and I can't remember the female actor's name that I think is going to be playing Ratcatcher.
Yes, it is. Did you Melchior or something? Daniela Melchior.
Yeah, because they're gender bending Ratcatcher.
Which is kind of rad.
It was funny because the way these announcements rolled out, they announced like what some of the new character additions were going to be, and then we didn't hear anything about like who would play them. And then they announced all of these returning characters, right? Like Margot Robbie and announcing, like Jai Courtney and Viola Davis and Joel Kinnaman. All of these people were coming back, and we were like, God, they haven't even touched the new ones yet. Now we're finally getting those. And we still don't know who Idris Elba is playing.
Yeah, I thought
because he's not playing Deadshot.
Oh yeah, that's right. We knew who he's not.
It was
playing.
suspected that he was going to, and then they were like, "No, we're going to give him a new character."
Just I'm up for it.
So who knows? But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I like the more weird characters. The Suicide Squad's the perfect place to pick your C-list, D-listers, especially if you got to kill a couple off in the the thing,
like
in the process.
Boomerang.
So, how dare you?
Hey! You know the great thing about boomerangs?
If he dies, who's going to just crack a Foster's in the middle of a street fight?
He'll be back in the next movie. It's a great thing about boomerang. That will come back.
Oh, just don't.
That's a fucking line he could use when he comes back. You think he's dead. That's a great thing about boomerangs.
I don't think I could handle like a multiple movie death and return of Captain Boomerang. It was hard enough with Superman.
It'll be a zombie boomerang.
Oh.
Zombarang.
Boomer Zomb. Nope.
That one didn't work.
What's the next piece of news?
Right. So Batman Curse of the White Knight.
Right.
Well, do you remember how he did that sort of 8-bit sort of sword like intro thing to the release of it? Well, apparently DC is going to be releasing 8-bit episodes for all of the releases moving forward.
Amazing.
I'm so fucking on board for that.
Well, Curse of the White Knight is the sequel to Sean Murphy's Batman White Knight. That was the one where Joker is rehabilitated, becomes sane. It sort of like reframes the battle for Gotham's soul as like Batman maybe being the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, Curse of the White Knight is the sequel to that. And yeah, these little like 8-bit
sort of
kind of episodes.
Yeah.
That like sort of recap things. Yeah, they're kind of cool.
They're really fun. I think that I'm assuming that he did the first one for fun, and then they were like, "We'll pay you to do more because people like them."
That's the thing, right? Like you never know. You do something silly, and then if people respond to it, why not? It doesn't hurt anyone,
right?
That's
why we did this. Still waiting for people to respond.
We've hurt so many people to get here.
Yeah. I've squashed skulls of men to get to this point.
Yeah, the podcasts I've crushed to make it here.
Looking at you, Green Lantern podcast.
Who we're teaming up with this month,
that's right.
by the way. Hey!
But then we crush you.
Let's not telegraph the move.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Then we won't crush you. Detective Comics 1000 has done very well.
Yeah.
It's sold over 500,000 copies to top March sales.
Yeah, and I think it ended up pushing DC into like the highest dollar sales.
Yes,
for
not
the month.
amount of comics,
not
but
units.
Yeah,
but dollar.
But dollars, yeah, which is rad. That's so I still need to get there's a variant that I want.
Which one?
The Michael Chow. Fucking love that, like that vintagey one.
Yeah.
It's fucking rad. I really want that one.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it at length. It's a good issue. I still don't like it as much as Action 1000.
They're two very different things in my opinion. They're very different takes on this sort of idea. I think that like Kevin Smith finally put out a good DC comic again, which has been a while.
Shots fired.
Well,
you really don't want him to be a guest, huh? It's been like 4 episodes.
Well, we already like stole his intro music, so. At least he changed. Now he's got
changed it.
Yeah. It's fine.
He was like, no.
These guys are the superior podcast. Last piece of news. Now, this is something that I think you addressed a little bit online, but I feel like we should at least talk about it. Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah.
The writer Tom King has received death threats over issue number 8.
Yeah, I mean, what's the TLDR on this? It's like, don't fucking threaten people over a comic book, you moron. Like, just like. We all love comics. That's why we're here. That's why you're listening to a comic book podcast. That's why I'm not with my infant daughter recording a comic book podcast. We all love them. And, like people are not everyone's going to get it right.
And I'll say a lot of people do not like this.
And that's fine. And sometimes people, in your view, are going to get it very, very wrong.
Yeah.
And you know what? When the 9th and final issue comes out and we see the whole story as a whole, it may not redeem the things that we've seen up till now. And frankly, like even what I've seen, like I'm not as like militant as some of these Wally West fans are.
Yeah.
I'm a Barry guy.
Yeah.
But like even I read number 8 and I was like, really? that's kind of a stretch. Like, I'm without spoiling anything, I'm not super into it either. But like, if you're the sort of person who's like, this comic book made me upset, that's fine. That means you're passionate. But if you're the sort of person that is like, this comic book made me upset, maybe I should kill the writer or threaten to, then you're a fucking idiot. Like, stop it. You know, no one is out to ruin the thing you like. That like, the odds of that are so low. You know, people are trying to write stories that they feel are going to move people. You might disagree. You might have good reason to disagree. It might be objectively that they got it wrong. But just don't threaten them. They're trying. They're making the art. You're just consuming it. Like, you don't get a say.
Yeah.
That's how that works. People think like, I'm the one buying it. I just, no. It doesn't apply to The Last Jedi. That doesn't apply to like any of these other fucking things. You're just the person consuming it. Enjoy it or don't enjoy it. Don't fucking threaten creators. That's insane.
Yeah.
And horrible.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Like, Jesus.
What are your thoughts on Heroes in Crisis?
I've been, as I often am, like, kind of just giving it a chance. Like, it hasn't super grabbed me, and there's a couple of threads that we keep jumping between, like, every odd issue, and I find that maybe more jarring than I should. And to be perfectly honest, the bits that I like about it don't require the main story of it. If it was 9, I mean, it wouldn't have to be 9 issues. That would be too much. But if it was just a number of issues of those sort of confessional...
All right, let's do this. Spoilers for the next 5 minutes ish. What's the thing that's pissing everybody off so much about this in issue 8? Like, what's been making everybody so much? Because I talked to some people.
Sure.
I was on the phone with my friend the other day, and he was like complaining about this, and I just don't know what's making everybody so mad about this.
Well, so here's the thing. So it's the story. I mean, just generally speaking, it's about this place called Sanctuary that's supposed to be like mental health recuperation and things like that for heroes, basically.
Yeah.
For who have experienced trauma, whatever form that takes.
Yeah.
And then there's a mass murder there, and everyone there is dead. The reveal in number 8, spoiler alert, everyone, is that Wally West is the killer.
Oh.
That I mean, he does it by accident. Like, he loses control of the Speed Force I mean, it's kind of, like, you can kind of write that off, but it's a little, like, contrived. But then the thing that's pissing people off is that he covers it up. Like, he sets it up like to throw people off. He like creates the perfect crime to buy himself 5 days, which he says will, gives him the time to like make it right or something, and then he's going to kill himself, presumably, and then bring himself back in time, I guess, and plant his body or some shit like that. But it's just so out of character for Wally, even if he accidentally killed everyone, to then cover it up is like, what the fuck is happening? And it's just I think the bigger thing is that the whole murder mystery plot device is such, like, they set it up as like someone here did it.
Yeah.
Which makes it feel like someone with a mental illness was unhinged. Like, in a book that's supposed to be like, no, we're getting better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the setup is wrong. It's not. It'd be one thing if the murder mystery was like the Legion of Doom finds out about this place and goes, let's get them where they're weakest. Which is cool, something really predatory like that, which is horrible, but like at least that would be what it was.
Or to be somebody.
So it's that it's so out of character for Wally. And then kind of like what I was saying, if this series was just those confessionals of people slowly talking about their traumas, that would have been fucking groundbreaking.
Yeah.
If it was only those like 9-panel things and you just like flip between characters and you slowly got what the stories of their traumas, that would have been like unheard of, like really sensational. But you got to put this fucking, like, it's like Identity Crisis again, It's just like, oh, great. Like, oh, there's who did it? Oh, it's not who you expect. Oh, it's someone that they trusted. Like who the fuck cares? Why does Wally set up Booster and Harley deliberately to think that the other one did it?
Yeah.
Like, it's so stupid to me.
Mm-hmm.
again, you know, issue 9 will come out. I'm still going to read it. I'm not going to stop doing it. I've made it 8 issues of 9. So I'm going to read it. And, you know,
so close.
Maybe it
7
will,
of 9.
maybe it will, you know, stick the landing or something. But it just feels like it feels not right. It feels like it missed the opportunity to be something really special, and now it's just generic, and like it feels also contrived.
Is it because it set itself up to be so great and then failed? Because so many comics come out are garbage. Like why is this bugging?
I have a personal suspicion that it's editorial intervention, but there's also a part of me that just thinks like maybe DC was like, these are the characters you can use, and then they were like, oh, that doesn't really work with the story we want to tell. And now you have to like wedge people into these fucking positions and where they don't fit. And that it kind of feels that way to me too.
Do you think that it's just like where we're at with culture right now and people are just like more worked up than they normally are? Like,
well, there is absolutely that, because you can't just be disappointed in a book. It has to be the worst thing that ever happened to you, and you're going to burn Tom King's house down.
Yeah, this book is Hitler. Tom King is Hitler.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other half of that, though, is maybe we should expect a little bit more from our popular art, you know, and especially because it was talking about sanctuary. It's this place for like hero mental health. Like it hasn't been touched on before, and it could have been something special. And then down the line, someone be like, "We've already done that. Let's do a murder mystery." But like that's where we're starting, and sort of and again that it's someone on the inside. It just like, what message are we saying about mental health with this book? For something pitched as the book about heroes' mental health.
Yeah, that's true.
That's, I think, the most disappointing part of it.
For sure. All right. Well, and that was actually 5 minutes exactly. So look at that. Well, ish. I don't know. I don't want to say exactly. People actually have clocks in front of them. Close enough.
What are you timing? Nothing happened.
Yeah. Shut up. How about that? All right. Well, this week's theme, I have no way to coyly bring us into it. It's sentient animals.
Yeah, there's no way to go from like
mental health
and murder.
You know how people with mental health are animals.
Jesus. I mean, I would have maybe gone with like support animals or something. Your way's not good.
They're sentient at least.
Yes, we're going with sentient animals as the theme for this week. There's lots of them.
Do you say sentient or sentient?
Ooh. I think generally I say sentient, but maybe that's pretentious of me. I'm actually not sure what the correct Canadian pronunciation is.
Oh. Usually you're always on ball.
I know. This is I think Brits might say sentient. I think Americans might say sentient, so I might be wrong here, but yeah, I honestly don't.
We are still under the Majesty's crown.
I mean, we are. We literally have a queen.
Yeah. That's why I said it. That's why I said it.
We got lots of questions.
We did. I'm in a weird mood today. More than usual. Yeah, let's get into it then. Let's get on over to Facebook.
Going to the face and the book. Going to the Facebook. You look like you were going to contribute there, then like nothing came out of your mouth.
I did. I just did it at the same time as you, so you didn't hear it. I went,
oh, okay.
So it's face.
Oh, I thought you were going to like say like book or something, and then nothing happened.
My mouth's behind this thing. You can't see it. You don't know what I did.
I can hear it. I'm not.
Clearly, you couldn't.
What's the question?
First resident is the most interesting resident of all.
I never remember which one.
I do.
Is it Roland Sebas?
That's right. It's Roland Sebas.
Sebas.
Rolling up the rim to win.
Roland Ill-Tempered Sebas.
Ill-Tempered?
Ill-Tempered Seabass from Austin Powers.
Oh.
We have Seabass. They're extremely ill-tempered.
Wow, what a fucking reference. All right. Roland asks... Ultrahumanite, Monsieur Mala, Gorilla Grodd. What was up with DC and Talking Apes? Marvel has a lot of blue mutants, but DC really has a thing for apes and simians. Pourquoi?
That's true. Well,
this is like the second person who's written French to us this week.
I mean, he is French.
Oh yeah, that's right. Was he the one who did the other one too? No. Somebody wrote something on Twitter.
He's from Quebec.
Okay.
I mean, I've said too much.
And he lives
he lives with Tom King. So if you're
Shark Hughes.
Yeah, well, let's go through some of these characters. We've talked about some before, but maybe not in a while. So Ultra Humanite.
That's one we haven't really talked that much about.
Ultra Humanite has the distinction, I think, of being the first super villain Superman ever fought in comic books.
Yeah.
Technically, Ultra Humanite is a person, like a human, who has the ability to like move their consciousness into other bodies. And the form that he chooses most often is this giant albino gorilla, and he wears this sort of battle harness, this red battle harness and things like that. And he has this sort of like expanded skull. He looks like a gorilla with too big of a brain kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
That's Ultra Humanite. So, I mean,
what's the deal?
I think it kind of counts as a sentient animal, but he's made himself that way. Like, he is a human who has given himself the form of a gorilla.
Oh, okay. It doesn't count then.
Which is kind of funny because there are some interactions between Ultra Humanite and Gorilla Grodd, possibly also in the Flashpoint universe. And Grodd, like he's an abomination to Grodd. Grodd doesn't even like humans. So a human taking a gorilla's body is
that's...
like
it's an affront to his god.
It absolutely is. We've talked about Gorilla Grodd so much from Gorilla City, where there are lots of sentient, super intelligent gorillas, including Solivar and a whole host of others. They have a city, so there's lots of them. Monsieur Mala is the one that we talked about, who he and the Brain are supervillains who are in love with each other. The Brain is a brain in like a robotic tin can, and Monsieur Mala is a sentient ape, and they're in love, and they're members of the Brotherhood of Evil, and frequently go up against the Doom Patrol. Most recently went up against the Titans in that series. Yeah, why does DC have a thing for apes? My personal theory on it is that, like, because we share so much genetically, you know, like even just, you know, the shape. They've got hands and feet.
You're starting to sound like Joe Rogan.
Oh God, they got hands and feet and like faces that we can kind of recognize, but they're bigger and they're like exponentially stronger than we are. So, you know, it's the Planet of the Apes thing. It's like, what is our advantage? And take that away, make them sentient and intelligent. It's like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like a shorthand for super strength, basically.
Our hand, we have more opposable, like more dexterity with our hands.
Yeah, they don't have more opposable thumbs.
Yeah,
they have this. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got ones on their feet, so I guess technically they have more opposable thumbs. But
we got more dexterity. Is that?
I don't know about that. They've got more power and strength, agility. Certainly, well, ferocity. It's those things too, right? When you take an animal that, I mean, gorillas are actually very peaceful. It's sort of surprising that
it's chimpanzees that are terrifying.
Chimpanzees are the fucking and they're the ones that we are genetically closest to, which says a lot about us.
I heard a thing. It was on the Joe Rogan podcast actually, because he loves talking about chimpanzees.
I'm sure he does.
And he was talking about like chimpanzees are one of the only species that gets jealous. And there was
them and like dolphins or something like
there was a thing where this guy who like owned some chimpanzees or something like that, or worked in, I can't remember if it was a zoo or something like that, but anyways, he like gives a birthday cake to one of the chimpanzees.
Oh fuck.
And the other ones like freak out and like rip off his face and his feet. They've ripped off his feet and all of his fingers. Ugh. He's still alive.
Oh God. Just, you know, kill me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
chimpanzees are terrifying,
but I think, you know, we in real life chimps are the most violent ones. But I think we take that, we put it on the frame of a gorilla, and that's, you know, we sort of like amalgamate some of those like different ape traits and put them together, right? And I think. Traits. And I think it is scary, and it's a way where it's not an alien or like a monster. It's like, no, it's you could do it with science or whatever. I think that's maybe why it's such an easy fallback.
Terrifying gorillas with science rules.
She increased my brain with science.
Oh, it's like, are you doing The Simpsons?
No, that's doing the song. I was doing She Blinded Me with Science by Thomas Dolby.
This is that dead air we were talking about.
What? You mean you cut it out?
Cut what out?
Check you.
So why does DC like it? Just because they're human-esque and it's interesting?
I think it's
and somebody started it, and
I think it's that thing of like, you know, instead of making like everything like a Hulk, like a person that gets too big, it's like making something that's maybe we consider to be ferocious or something like that, and giving it our intelligence is scarier. There's probably also an element of like, you know, we mistreat animals if we certainly give them sentience, and that we have a certain amount coming at us, you know, or coming to us that we deserve. So it's probably that.
Yeah. I don't know what you were trying to tell me to do. Oh, we did? Wow, that is not enough to tell me that O'Shea dropped off the recording.
I don't want to be on your charades team.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell him go look out the window.
Oh, and he's leaving.
Yeah.
Because he's got the...
His smoker.
Well, I'm just going to quickly talk to him. Because I want to know how that... All right. Do you want to go to the next question?
Let's do it.
All right. He didn't start because he's Dan Dunn. Dan didn't start the fire because he's Dan Dunn. Who asks, who is Detective Chimp? Where did he develop his alcohol problem?
Right.
He's got both of those things.
Sorry?
He's a detective and he has an alcohol. I mean, I guess that comes with being a detective, I guess.
Territory.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, actually. So, yeah. Detective Chimp. His
we really should do a Detective Chimp episode.
We probably should. His real name is Bobo. Well, no, his real name is something else. He was called Bobo. And he used to just be...
That's his slave name.
Well, I mean...
right?
Kinda.
Yeah.
He used to just be...
You okay?
I had some turkey. It's very briny. It's delicious.
Yeah. Thank you. Made some fucking... It's
a good ass turkey.
It is, right? I mean, you can see why we make turkey during the rest of the year.
I still think it's weird, but it's delicious.
So what we do is we do like a salt brine with the 2 days before, and we basically rub it all underneath the skin, and then
show me how you do it.
Oh yeah, then I put my hands underneath this guy, slip my fingers.
Oh my god!
I spread the skin away from the body. And then when we're ready to make it, what I do is I take some more salt and I mix it with baking powder, and then I cover that with baking powder and salt. And so what that does is get the really crispy skin. And then I flip the breast side down and put bacon all along the back.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and it's a good ass turkey. Anyway, sorry, Detective Chimp.
Right. He was just a regular chimpanzee, and then
Not a chimpanzee.
No.
From chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
Brutal. It doesn't work in Canada. Chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
Do you say Zed?
Yeah, that's the
word.
word.
Yeah, you're whole crazy about kind of being.
I'm not
properly.
crazy. I'm saying the word.
Yeah, but it does, like, phonetically, it just doesn't make sense because it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Z. Like, it just doesn't.
I'm gonna blow your mind. There's a different tune you can sing the alphabet to where it does make sense. I'm gonna blow your mind right now.
Okay.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Okay, that's really fucked up.
Isn't that fucked up?
That's not the song.
It is now. That's what we say goodbye as.
A, B, C.
No, Brooks.
D, E, F, G.
Brooks. He was a regular chimp, and he was part of this sort of like circus sideshow act where he would like guess people's weight, you know, like that sort of
yeah.
Where it was all like signals, and the guy would that sort of thing. And then one day he meets another sentient animal, Rex the Wonder Dog,
okay,
who is an established character, and Rex basically leads him to the Fountain of Youth, and he drinks from the Fountain of Youth, and he gains super intelligence. He becomes sentient. He becomes self-aware.
Sentient.
And it's not the Dr. Grabber podcast.
Could be.
It could be, but like, Jesus.
Today we're talking about the Oxford comma. That's actually a full week series.
That's a podcast.
Yeah.
So he gains sentient. He also becomes immortal, And in Day of Vengeance, in that series that features Detective Chimp and a bunch of other sort of like magical C-listers taking on the Spectre, you get a bit more backstory. And he says, once he gained sentience, he didn't really like play along with the act in the sideshow anymore. Like there's a panel where instead of just guessing someone's weight, he's like, and you buried the body in the backyard, and that's why there's dirt on your like he's doing like the Sherlock.
Yes.
He kind of strikes out on his own and makes his own detective agency, and he gets lots of calls and stuff like that. But then he can't like enforce payment because he doesn't have legal standing as a person. And so he gets kind of depressed and starts drinking.
You give him bananas. I thought that was banana daiquiris.
He's a person.
I mean, he's not a person.
He's a person.
He's an animal.
How dare you?
He's a damn dirty.
You blew it up.
You did it. You finally did it, you bastards.
And it truly will be a planet of detective chimps. But yeah, I mean, in Day of Vengeance, that's the reason they give for his drinking problem, is that he just sort of like, he realizes like how sort of like alone he is, and that he basically doesn't fit anywhere, and he's sort of cursed with intelligence and immortality. Like he won't even die. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he can be, again, eternal, not immortal. He can be killed. He can be slayed. But, yeah.
But withstanding, like, murder, he
But if no one does anything to him,
he will live forever.
He'll live forever. Yeah. But yeah, that's Detective Chimp.
He could kill himself, technically.
He could, but doesn't. He was a member of the Shadow Pact, like I mentioned. He's currently a member of the Justice League Dark. With Wonder Woman and Man-Bat and Swamp Thing and Zatanna.
Man-Bat. I'm not a Batman. I'm a Man-Bat, Daddy.
Zoolander?
Yeah. Merman.
Wow.
Well, we're leaving Facebook. Heading on over to Twitter.
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 It's too long.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. First question comes from Stump Chunkman.
Step into the stump! Stump Chunkman! You were so committed there. You squinted. It like affected your face saying that.
Well, he affects me in the pants.
So, like, come on. We've talked about this, man. It's literal sexual harassment.
In my dick.
No, not in your dick.
Up my butt.
Like only your urethra is affected? Is that what you're trying to say? Not like the surrounding tissue, not your penis and just your urethra. He only affects you there. Listen to yourself, man. You're getting further from it.
My dick and balls.
All right, what was the question?
Who asks, other than Grodd and the super dog, are there any other sentient animals?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Grodd.
Yeah, we already... Weren't you listening?
How did you not know by the time you asked this question? So yeah, we've talked about some of the ape ones: Ultra Humanite, Grodd, Monsieur Mala, Detective Chimp,
Monsieur Mala,
Beppo the Super Monkey to throw in with the simians. There's Crypto the Super Dog. There's Ace the Bat Hound. There's Rex the Wonder Dog. There is Streaky the Super Cat, Comet the Super Horse. There was Kanga, Wonder Woman's pet kangaroo.
Oh, that's right.
There's Topo the Octopus. There is like the pod of dolphins in the 90s that like raised Aquaman. So Porm is one.
I love some porn.
Oh, yeah, the dolphin porm. It's that dolphin porm. Am I right? Porm feels like if you had to go to a grocery store to buy porn and you went to a cheap grocery store, you would get porn.
Or it's what Orm calls his personal porn.
Yeah. Where's my porn?
Bring out the camcorder. We're going to make some porn.
Volko, get my porn.
Volko.
Yeah, so there are there's those ones. There are, I mean, I don't know if you want to count aliens, because technically that's just like a different species, not like an animal on Earth. But you get like Starro the Conqueror. Mr. Mind is a Venusian worm. There's all sorts of like, there are tons basically.
Yeah, what a stupid question, Adam.
Well, I mean, it's not a stupid question, but there are lots. I don't know if we've established that Bat Cow is sentient or just a cow that Damien has a affection for.
Oh yeah, because
I don't know if the Bat Cow actually has like, consciousness and contributions and things like that, or if Damien just enjoys Bat Cow. If someone has like really concrete proof you want to send, please do. But
do you remember Kung Pao Enter the Fist? That
Yes.
movie? Do you remember the scene with the cow that's doing the Matrix thing, and then it gets like a pole punched through it? That's like a perfect circle.
do you remember the Tick show with Patrick Warburton?
Yes.
In one episode, they talk about fighting Apocalypse Cow.
Yes, I do. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's leave Stump Chunkman and head on to the next resident, James Paulson, who asks, I got nothing for that. Make more
I
creative.
mean, technically, we don't need a drop for everything.
Hashtag we need a drop.
We're outsourcing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I just meant like if you think we need a drop for every resident, then hashtag we need a drop.
Right.
James Paulson asks, which sentient animal would make the best companion?
Ooh.
And who would be the worst?
Well, I mean, let's maybe immediately discount the morality thing because you know what I mean? Like, Grodd won't be a good companion because he's an evil supervillain. So let's like throw morality.
Well, then he would not be very good, would he? He would be a bad companion.
I suppose. I guess I was trying to make it so that
unless you were also bad.
Okay, sure. Right, I understand. I understand the game that I failed to set up.
That's okay. That's what I'm here for. To produce.
I think even by villain standards, Grodd is not a good companion because Grodd always has his
Betrays
own objective. He only ever temporarily allies with people.
That's true.
When it serves his goals. I mean, that's a thing with villains in general.
Yeah.
But, that's, I would say, particularly true for Grodd. A good companion. I mean, the best companion is Crypto. He is so.
That's what I would think.
So loyal and loving I mean, it's literally the thing people like about dogs is Crypto. Like Ace is a good dog, but he's like a detective dog raised by Batman. He's not exactly affectionate. Like Crypto is, from a companionship perspective, that's probably the one.
What about that the super horse?
Well, there's a whole thing there where like the horse kind of has a thing for Supergirl.
I mean,
that's one of those like that's like a.
I mean, it is hung like a horse,
but that feels like one of those when you look back on 80s rom-coms and you're like, oh, this is actually like more toxic than I remember. It's like, well, are you really like a friend or are you just there because you love her?
Yeah,
or you think you love her?
Yeah.
So there's that. Takitani, like the tiger, with some of the power of Shazam.
Would Beast Boy count as a sentient animal?
No, he's a person.
But he turns into animals and then becomes a sentient animal.
Them. He is a person first.
But then when he's an animal, is he still an animal?
I guess that depends. He's a good companion for Raven. Hey, mama. Except for the reasons I just outlined about the super horse, which is that it's only because he has romantic feelings.
Yeah.
He's a good companion with Cyborg. They're good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
I don't consider him a sentient animal, so the point is moot, but
we're all really just animals, aren't we?
Jesus. You're in a real dark place today.
I've actually had a good day, too. I don't know why.
Well,
I think
even more upsetting.
It's because I just watched The Red Wedding.
I can't believe you made it this far without really knowing what happened there.
Oh, this is
Other
what
than knowing that there was a red wedding and some people died. I can't believe that like it had anything to shock you with.
I literally like knew that there was a wedding and a lot of people died, and I knew that like Joffrey died somewhere near then. Spoilers, I guess, but yeah, I've been sending Kyle Clark texts being like hashtag Game of Thrones cold takes.
Cold takes.
And just being like,
I like that.
Be like, you know what? I think Tyrion's a pretty cool guy. Or be like, you know what? The Red Wedding was pretty crazy.
I think Ned's gonna win the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, really early. I don't know. I just started watching this show. It's really good. I think Ned's gonna be the. Yeah.
I don't think anybody can kill a Stark.
No, but it was crazy. I mean, we're going way off tangent now, but like, I was like watching the Red Wedding, and there's actually a bunch of weddings that are happening around that time. So I'm just like, I know there is a Red Wedding. I know that it's in season 3, and I know that one of these aren't going to go well, but I had no idea. And so I was like, it could be Tyrion's, it could be Joffrey's, it could be like, there's a lot of weddings that are going on. And so I was just like, boop, boop, boop. And I'm like, well, it can't be this random wedding. Boop, 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 boop. And then like the guy shows like his chainmail, and I was like, oh shit. And then then the really bad stuff happens, and I'm like, oh God,
It's pretty horrific.
That show is more horrific than anything I've ever seen on TV or movies.
Well, that's fair.
Like, I mean, that being said, like worse than any Saw movie I've seen sometimes.
Yeah, I think
some of those
fair.
torture scenes are like, jeez.
Have you gotten through like some of the Theon stuff?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the part that I'm just like, Jesus.
That shit's pretty messed up.
Like, that is rough. No, I do like the scene where, like, after they chop off the thing.
It's so rough that they take a guy who betrayed, like, his adoptive family and tried to fuck his own sister, and you really are like, this guy's had a bum deal.
To be fair, he didn't know that it was his sister.
Oh, to be fair.
Well, he did, because he...
Easy Pornhub front page. Let's not...
Pornhub.
Well done.
All right, the next question comes from EC, who asks, if you could write a comic book or animated series with animals that's never been used in the DC universe, what animals would you use?
Well, I mean, I'll just start this by saying there's so many comic books. I'm sure that whatever I'm about to say has been used once or something like that, but just generally following the spirit of it. An animal I'd be interested in seeing... Oh, that's actually really tough.
I would love to see like
Do you have one?
Super birds sort of scenario where, and it's like you may have like all of the birds have like different abilities, and like the like hummingbirds super fast, and
you want like a legion of birds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
where they each have different,
the flamingos like
can stretch or something.
Yeah. See, you get it. Yeah.
I like that.
That would be really fun. I think. Yeah. And then they all go to like high school called Sky High.
And some of them are the heroes, and some are sidekicks.
Oh yeah, you know, there's like cliques, and
I like
these are the
Sky
cool
High.
kids. Yeah, I kind of love
This
it.
is the second week in a row. I think we've admitted how much we like Sky High.
I think so.
Yeah, I like that, like a legion of birds kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. I think I think I would want something that like seems innocuous, but like maybe they get an additional power in not just sentience. I mean, kind of like what you're saying, but like, for example, a camel, and like each hump has a different useful liquid.
And you can spit it out.
Like one is to power a flamethrower, and one is like,
oh my God.
Or like, you know what I mean? Acid.
It's called, in the comics, called Hump Day.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And it comes out on Wednesdays.
Oh my God.
DC execs.
We know you're listening.
Fuck, can that be my dial dog?
Oh my God. And he's got it.
They call me Hump Day.
And he's got a kicking ability called Camel Toe.
God damn it. But you know what I mean? Take something like that. Or like a... Yeah.
Or like okay, it's inside of like a... like an animal shelter.
Yeah.
And there's like a tiny little kitten who gets the ability for like super strength.
Sure, yeah.
That would be really funny.
Yeah.
His name's Oliver.
Or like a pelican, and inside the pouch is like a portal to another dimension.
Now you're Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol. Fuck, damn it. Donkey Patrol.
It's kind of the best. Like, that was such a good idea.
There's so much shit like that in that show. You're right. I just ripped that off from Doom Patrol.
Yeah,
Never
mind.
Okay. But yeah, I think maybe the camel with useful liquids in each hump.
I got some useful liquids for it.
No.
It involves a hump.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah, that's right.
One pump chump.
That's what they call me. Next question comes from Warlock Thanos Podcast, who asks, which one, if any, do you feel could support their own book?
Ooh.
Detective Chimp.
I mean, probably, because at least the conceit there is that he is also something else. right? Like it's super smart ape who is a detective. So you already have like a framework. Yeah, I mean, I think things like Crypto the Superdog could support like a mini because there's enough love for the character after all this time that like you get enough people to like sign up for 6 issues or something like that. I mean, there's also the fact that like I'm not necessarily always a fan of like the villain centered books, but like Grodd, absolutely, you could, or like a Gorilla City book. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not the question. The question is the solo book, but like a book or a mini series like about Gorilla City where you
but it's surrounded centering
Solivar
around
and Grodd and like,
but it's about Grodd, obviously,
and make it like a Game of Thrones kind of thing where it's him taking power and stuff like like I think that would totally be a cool book. I think we've seen glimpses of it as just like backstory or things like that.
Yeah.
A Flash comic or something like that. But like give it its own sort of legs. I think that would be kind of interesting. I'd be down for like a Gorilla City book.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really rad. I kind of agree with that. I would love to see a Detective Chimp though. I mean,
I gotta say this because my wife will hate me if I don't bring it up. But in the old like Filmation cartoons, Hawkman had a sidekick called Skreel, who was a hawk, and he would just go Skreel, and the hawk would go like ah, and just like flap at people and shit like that.
Not like tear at them with his claws.
Well, it was a cartoon in the 50s, so no, it wasn't that graphic.
That's unfortunate.
It wasn't like the Red Wedding.
I was gonna say, like, Jon Snow got attacked by somebody with the
Skreel. Tywin Lannister sends his regards.
Jesus. Use his claws on our stomach.
I'll say that for my wife. That Skreel deserves a shot. 4-issue, 5-issue miniseries. If only to see how the letterer like writes the sounds for Skreel. Let's throw that in there.
HERAW.
Yeah. I think, but make it a comedy where like Hawkman is constantly in danger of being found out, like is East Carter Hall, and he like, always has to leave meetings to be Hawkman, and like Skreel is basically the only thing keeping the Mrs. Doubtfire thing like alive.
I like this. I like to see like Skreel like with a pen like writing like notes.
Skreel has to like Hawkman doesn't know that he's doing this. It's just that's like secretly how Hawkman even works. Skreel is like doing all the legwork. Hawkman's just like, I'm great at secret identities, but Skreel is like distracting people so they look away when he goes to the bathroom, and then Hawkman comes out, or like I think that's the setup. That's my pitch. Heath, are you listening?
Yeah.
I feel like you could pull this off.
I feel like
of anyone.
Could. Yeah, absolutely. All right, next question comes from it's a collective apparently. It's Supergirl and Brainiac 5 plus Naya.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Who asks if Comet, the super horse we already brought up, was given the choice, would he go back to being a centaur, being a full human, or staying a horse because he knows how important he is to the Legion of Super Pets?
Right. So a thing I didn't mention before is that Comet, the super horse, wasn't always a horse. Do you
remember that Family Guy part where it's like they do like the Jerry Springer thing?
Oh yeah, actually, Jerry, I'm a horse.
Yeah, and it's like I'm a broom. Yeah. To be honest with you, Diane, I'm a broom. And then it falls.
Frankly, Jerry, I'm surprised. Yes,
sorry,
that's a very early season Family Guy.
It is, yeah.
Right. So, Comet the Super Horse was initially a centaur, and I think if I'm remembering correctly, this is the pre-crisis version because the story's been amended since. But pre-crisis, I think he helps rescue Circe, like from Greek mythology.
Circe,
not Circe Lannister, the Circe from Greek mythology, from like the Odyssey. And
cold take: Circe's not a very nice person.
I was rooting for her to fuck her brother, but I don't think I like her now.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they really won me with the whole incest thing, but I don't know.
They kind of lost me with pushing the kid out the window.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
they won me back with covering it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hashtag Pornhub.
Jesus. But he helps Circe out, and she gives him a spell or a potion or something. Circe in the Odyssey is famous for turning men into pigs and then eating them.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to turn him into a human, but it does the opposite. It accidentally turns him into a horse. It's like an actual mistake. And it's trapped as a horse, basically. The origin got like amended after Crisis on Infinite Earths and things like that. There were like different versions. But yeah, I mean, so heart of the question is, what is the preferred form? Jesus. A part that didn't make it into this question, but was in the tweet from Supergirl plus Brainiac 5 plus Naya, is that Comet does sort of harbor feelings for Supergirl.
So maybe being a human would make that easier.
Well, their point was actually that would make it more difficult, because then it's too feasible,
But then it could be more of a possibility, wouldn't it?
Well, but Supergirl's heart belongs to Brainiac 5. So, maybe just to guard his tender heart, he wouldn't choose the human option.
Or he could become a centaur and stab Brainiac 5.
Jesus. Brainiac 5 has a force field. A centaur's not getting through.
I guess. Of course, Your Grace.
Come on, Richard. It concerns me that you're calling me that, because every precedent set in Game of Thrones, which you're currently watching, is that the people closest to the lords they serve betray them.
Never, Your Grace. Of course, never.
Right,
Never.
Why are you growing that little finger mustache? Yeah.
No, I would. You are the most intelligent, Your Grace.
This may be the
I could
last
never
episode
betray.
of the podcast. If there's not an episode next week, you know what happened.
That's the next episode's actually called the Red Episode.
I suspect that Comet would choose to be a centaur again. I think he could still,
because that's way more rad.
Yeah, I think he could maybe send the Legion of Super Pets on missions, sort of coordinate, be more of a liaison between them and the actual Legion, as opposed to just being a member, and not being a full human, rather. Sorry, would mean that he can sort of safely guard himself, make excuses for why he and Supergirl aren't together. I'm gonna go with Centaur. That's my gut feeling about that one.
Also, it'll be much easier to take Professor Umbridge away.
Well, yeah. Oh, Ferenz.
To do terrible things to her, I'm assuming.
Jesus.
I mean,
Why
come
do you
on.
assume that?
Why? I mean, they're centaurs. They're wild. They're what do you think they're going to do?
It wouldn't surprise me if that was one of those stupid fucking J.K. Rowling 10 years later tweets, which is like, fun fact, Dolores Umbridge got
raped.
I didn't say it on purpose.
They're hung like horses.
Jesus.
Next question.
Fuck me. Jesus.
Next question comes from Raging G. Raging G. Well, I give a power load. Raging G. I drive a tugboat.
I drive a tugboat. I mean, that's so far from our experience in normal life. I don't know how you got there. I love it.
Raging G, I live in fear. Raging G, I want to have a nice beer.
I mean, you kind of got the reverse that time. The beer was tougher than living in fear.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a tough guy. I fear death. I'm a tough guy. My girlfriend's name is Beth.
See, you get it now, yeah.
But both of my point is one of those is not tough.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well,
I live in fear was your tough guy's submission.
Yeah. Wow. Raging G, I'm as hard as I can get. Raging G, I only sleep with my blanket.
I mean, it's closer.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
Raging G, I'm the bomb. Raging G, I love my mom.
There you go.
There you go. Okay.
That's the one.
There it is.
The live in fear one was a great Freudian slip, though.
Every day is agony. Raging G asks, take one of the non-talking animal sidekicks, like Bat Cow,
sure,
and give him or her, I'm going to add, because he wrote him, and that's very not good, Raging G, a higher level of consciousness and voice. Who would you pick?
Ooh, right. So Right, an animal that does not currently have voice. Interesting. You go first. I actually specifically want to hear who you would cast as Bat Cow. Let's say they're making like some sort of weird live action movie with Damien and Bat Cow. Who is the voice of Bat Cow?
I mean, part of me wants to use what's his name from the original Tick?
What, Patrick Warburton?
Yeah, Patrick Warburton would be really funny, I think.
We went to very different places.
Yeah, or what's his name from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the short one.
Charlie Day?
Charlie Day.
I was going to say Steve Buscemi.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why.
That's a weird...
There's something funny to me about the idea of like on the outside, this cat just looks kind of mindless or just is like chewing constantly and just sort of looking off in the distance. And when you talk to him, he's like weirdly cynical. Like
I just like the idea that it's
like that Damien saves him and it's supposed to be this moment of like, oh, Damien has a heart. And then as soon as it talks, it's like, Jesus fucking grass, am I right? It's just like it's like Steve Buscemi. It's like
I think what got me to Patrick Warburton was like the moo, and it's just like, oh, fucking moo.
Right. It certainly, that one's definitely fits like the frame better than any of the other ones that were said. Yeah. John Malkovich. No.
I am a cow. Moo.
Is that Jason Bateman? No, not Jason Bateman. Who am I thinking of? Zach Braff.
Wow.
I've got them. It was crazy.
Yeah, you know the other Jason Bateman.
Yeah. Arrested Scrubs.
That's good. That's good.
I'm trying to think what other ones we give voice to. Like Crypto, I think you have to give like a very happy, positive voice to. I would actually maybe think like Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that's just Toy Story, man. That's going to be Woody's voice.
Sorry, I have to pick an actor that doesn't work?
No, you have to be an actor pick an actor that voice doesn't automatically make you think of a specific cartoon character.
But that's the thing I'm going for.
All right, jeez, you whiny little bitch.
Threaten you on Twitter.
You're Hitler.
You're Hitler for this.
Yeah.
I think Ace the Bat Hound, maybe like Brad Roberts.
Who's that?
He was the brother on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh my God.
I think just...
Raymond.
Raymond.
I'm a bat.
Hey, Bruce.
It's a good one, actually.
Yeah, I think that...
Well, then who would be Ray? Because you have to put Ray's voice in there somewhere.
Right, so then Ray would have to be Bat Cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a cow.
Damien.
Damien. Oh. Come on.
This is
Come on.
This question is absolute entrapment. Trying to make us do voices you know we can't do.
And you know that we want to.
And that we're going to try anyway. What are some other good ones? What about Dexstar, the Red Lantern cat that gains a certain degree of sentience when it gets like a Red Lantern ring? It's an Earth house cat that gets a Red Lantern ring.
Ooh.
Dexstar does technically have a voice in the comics, but we've never seen it like on screen or anything. I think I'd like something like a little
like Fran Drescher.
I was gonna say Shrill. So,
Fran Drescher.
Or Janice from Friends.
Chandler!
Yeah. Oh my God. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, that works. All right.
Who are we kidding, though? They're all going to be played by Andy Serkis.
Obviously, yeah. We're leaving Twitter, and we're heading on over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
First question comes from the real Josh Gill.
Gill.
Sexy Gill. No. Okay.
It's taking too long.
I know.
It's not going to be worth it.
I know. It's never. That's what she said.
It's taking too long? That's what she said? That's not what I expected.
It's taking too long, but it's not going to be worth it. Who asks, Bobo, Detective Chimp, where would he fall in the hierarchy of intelligence?
Ooh.
Being an immortal chimp, he has to have accumulated a lot of wisdom, and he's been shown to be incredibly intelligent.
Sure, yeah, he is extremely intelligent, and you're right. Being immortal, he would accumulate a lot of wisdom. The thing is, though, that he hasn't really been immortal all that long. Like maybe since the 40s or 50s. You know, the stories get retconned a little bit, but maybe since then. So he's only been alive, still basically like a human lifespan. So he is intelligent. It's his super intelligence that makes him intelligent more than how long he's been around, because he hasn't been around long enough to really make that like a variable that has an impact. So I would actually, in the rank, we talked about this when we talked about geniuses, the rankings of earthbound geniuses. Detective Chimp is obviously not 1, 2, or 3. I suspect he's not 4. I would, if I'm just going to put him at a random
You're just going to keep going,
number,
neither 5. I don't think 6.
7? No. That's going to put him in at a random number. I might put him at like somewhere in like the 9 to 13 range.
Okay, yeah.
I think you can reasonably put enough people ahead of him.
Like for a damn dirty ape, he's pretty smart. But
jeez, what did they do to you?
What didn't they do?
Did they take like the weather stripping off your car at African Lion Safari?
Oh my God. Did you ever go to African Lion Safari?
I lived like 20 minutes away from it.
Oh my God,
Growing
really?
up, yeah. I grew up next to African Lion Safari, which now as an adult is the most depressing thing ever. Safari animals in fucking Ontario.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like, oh God.
African Lion Safari.
Go wild. The real safari adventure.
This is only interesting for like 2 people.
I don't think enough people that listen to our podcast are from Southern Ontario.
No, I don't think so either. I think
this is like singing like a local Chevrolet ad. This is like how niche this is.
Go to Dick Scott for a Dodge. When you buy a Dodge,
is this an Essex County thing?
Boop, 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 boop. Pardon me?
Is this like an Essex County
This
ad?
is from Detroit.
Okay. I just remember Fusillo Chevrolet from Grand Island, just across the Niagara River.
Was there a song?
No, he was just aggressive in the ads. He was like, Fusillo Chevrolet. You're like, okay, Jesus.
United Furniture Warehouse. Boom, boom.
Welcome to the Dr. Jingles podcast.
Oh my God, can we?
I kind of love that.
I love that too.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
Where it won't be.
Yeah, where we also won't do it.
But please, buy our merch.
What was the question again? Oh, right. His intelligence. I'd say somewhere in like the 9 to 13 range. There's enough other scientists and geniuses and that I think belong above him. He's not necessarily like a technological whiz. He's deductively like intelligent. He's a good detective.
Yeah.
But he's not necessarily like a mechanical genius or, you know, like a nanotech whiz or anything like that. So I think he's further down the list.
Totally. All right. Next question comes from seemingly a new resident, Mepsi Moo.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
My sister made an Instagram account for her dog.
Oh.
That is, and her dog's name is Meps. And it has a following that I'm ashamed of because I hate this idea of people like social mediaing as their pets.
Yeah,
it drives me nuts.
Lucy definitely doesn't have one of those.
I hate it so much.
I heart Lucifer on
But
Instagram.
she specifically said, is it worth me writing or will you not even answer this? And I was like, fine, let your dog, quote unquote, write the post. So
let's see what the dog has to ask. Hello, Doctor.
Jesus Christ.
I would like to hear about super doggos, please. Are they all good boys who deserve Doritos? Or are they some bad boys? Also, are there any super cat friends? That's what Mepsi asked.
Maps. Right.
Hashtag buy a dog.
So not dog specific, but dog family. Very famously, Harley has hyena pets.
Oh,
they're not
that's
sentient,
right. Yes,
so they kind of don't count.
Remember in the game when they would like jump out?
Yeah.
And attack?
In Injustice 2.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. She has pet hyenas.
You gotta play that again.
Again, not sentient, but if we're just talking about dogs associated with, that's pretty close to like a villain contribution.
With some bad doggos.
Some bad doggos, precisely. Most doggos are good because it's like kind of too adorable. It's kind of like, I think if you're a dog person, it's like self-defeating to make them a villain.
But that's not fucking what they do to
There's
dogs.
a villain cat.
That's the hardest. Yeah, well, obviously, because cats are evil.
I love cats.
I mean, I love. I couldn't do it.
Go to a pet store to slam some cat.
You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ. I mean, speaking of, are there super cat friends? There absolutely are. So there's Streaky the super cat, which is Supergirl's cat. There is also, I just mentioned, Dexstar, who is an earth cat, a house cat, who is like, their owner is like murdered in front of them.
Yeesh. And
then the cat is like made homeless and then is like abused on the street. Like people like kick it and stuff. And someone puts it in a sack and like throws it in the river. And
jeez, oh yeah, you did tell me
this cat
about this.
that was so sweet feels so much anger. The Red Lantern ring picked it over all of the sentient life on Earth. This cat was more capable of hate in that moment and becomes a member of the Red Lantern Corps and promptly kills the people that tried to drown it and is kind of like the sentient pet of Atrocitus, the leader of the Red Lantern Corps. So Dexstar is like maybe the most famous version of both a villain contribution and a super cat. Most doggos, I would say, are good ones. And I guess would, quote unquote, deserve treatos.
I like it. All right, next question comes from the Iceman Customs.
The Iceman Customs!
Look, you have this car. I turned it into an ice block. Iceman Customs. You have this new TV. I turned that into an ice block. Iceman Customs.
It's not even puns. He's just turning things into blocks of ice.
Yeah, it's not a very good customs company.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really customs. It's just like defaults. Like he only has one thing.
You want to immigrate into this country? I turn you into an ice block. Iceman Customs.
That's what he means. It's not the right custom.
In your culture, you when you get married, you put on rings. In mine, you put on an ice block. Iceman Customs.
What is this character?
Oh, Jesus. This is a weird one.
I'm feeling weird today.
Yeah, I can tell.
I don't know. I think it's a combination of being in a good mood and watching Game of Thrones, putting me in a weird spot.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. Good. Iceman Customs asks, can you please talk about Hoppy, Captain Marvel's furry pal?
Right. Hoppy is a weird one because this was sort of Fawcett Comics era. Hoppy doesn't get powers from the wizard Shazam. Hoppy gets powers from a rabbit wizard and uses the word Shazam. Like
that's really insane.
Like there's like a rabbit equivalent of the wizard that gives Hoppy.
I like the idea that it has no affiliation though with the wizard Shazam.
Well, it doesn't, and it doesn't have affiliation with the gods either. It's something about like having like the.
Yet it's still Shazam.
He gets like the something of a snake, the something of
God.
like like it still spells Shazam, but it's all animals.
That's insane.
Like the agility of a monkey or something like that. But yeah, it's like a rabbit wizard that gives Hoppy powers, but he says Shazam, he becomes.
Jeez.
That's an oft forgotten little piece of
of
the old like Captain Marvel puzzle.
Way to go, Iceman.
I mean, that couldn't be more clearly from like the happy-go-lucky Fawcett Comics days.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. That's insane.
That's a very, very weird one. Well done.
All right, let's leave Instagram and head on over to Reddit,
where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean.
That's right. And it's everyone's favorite other doctor. It's Dr. Hoot.
Dr. Hoot.
Hoot, hoot. Hooty hoot. Who asks, can you break down the character of Crafty from Morrison's Animal Man?
Oh, fuck.
Guess that's less of a question and more of a request, but hey, it's all I got.
Oh, fuck. Crafty. Morrison's Animal Man. Actually,
Uh-oh.
This is when I had my fever.
Was it for cowbell?
I was doing, well, I wish. I was doing some research when my fever hit 40 degrees. Jesus Christ. Now I don't remember what's real anymore. No. Okay, Crafty is like a coyote hybrid. He's like part man, part coyote. And I think he gets killed or something. Like someone kills him because they think he's a werewolf or something like that. Like he gets like silver bullet shot or something. And I think like dies in Animal Man's arms or something like that. It's relatively early, I think, in the Morrison Animal Man run. I'm a little fuzzier on this than I'd want to be, but I think he's like a coyote man hybrid who gets like murdered basically. He does, so it's not like he has like a long run or he's like a particularly storied character or something like that. But if I'm remembering correctly, I think that's it.
Wow, that's weird.
I'm sorry I don't have more for that one, but like again,
fever.
I've had such a crazy fever.
Fair enough. That's it for the question.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You know what time it is.
I do now.
Yep. It's for this time. It's for this week. It's time for
Stop buying time.
Dial Doc. That's right. Every week we come up with a random character based on the original comic book series of Dial H4 Hero, which they've now brought back. But the concept is essentially that a random person comes upon a telephone booth where if they dial in hero, they become a randomly generated hero, unless they dial in evil and they become a villain. Right. But the platform for this was basically that there was a bunch of lazy writers who wanted to come up with random characters, so they got requests.
Shots fired.
Yeah, they got requests in from readers, and they couldn't make a whole comic book around them, so they got to make these one-off issues. So we try to come up with our own every week, which is now we've been doing this for a long time. I think we've been doing it like for 50 episodes now.
Yeah, it's longer than I thought it would last.
Yeah, God.
I think we should try to have some sort of animal theme. They don't have to be an animal, but like I think that should be.
Wow, you're adding on extra rules. Okay.
Well, we've been doing that the last couple of weeks.
Luckily, I already got one.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, then just do the one you've got.
Yeah.
I'd never expect you to have one.
I will.
Okay.
So there.
Do the one you've got.
I will.
Right now.
I'm going to do it right now.
Do it.
I am.
Why are you stalling?
Because
you said you had
it.
one.
Because I got it.
You have one?
Yeah, I do.
You told me that you had.
I have one. That's why I'm going to say it right now.
Don't you dare lie to me.
My character's name is Scribbles the Dog. Just wait. It's a Morrison written comic book series.
Sure.
And the idea is basically that the writer from the comic book is actually afraid of dogs. And then one day decides to draw this character. The dog becomes sentient and is actually aware that it's a comic book character.
Sure.
So then...
Very Morrison.
Yeah. Scares the writer to get him whatever he wants. And so he draws whatever Scribbles asks him to.
Right, so it's kind of like the ventriloquist thing where the dummy controls him, except that it's like a fictional character in a comic book that's holding this guy like emotionally hostage.
Yeah.
Okay. How is that helpful?
Well, because he can get whatever he wants.
The dog can.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, that sounds like hell.
Yeah.
What a horrible thing to turn into. Mine is called the Humanity. It's a...
I'm sorry, the Humanity? You mean like Ultra Humanite, but humanity?
Yeah, like a human manatee. The Humanity.
So did he turn into was he human that turned into a manatee?
We'll never know.
Is this like
he's somewhere, but he's like, if there was a missing link, like where people were looking for the missing link between ape and man, if someone was looking for a missing link between man and manatee.
Is this like a Tusk situation?
Oh, damn it. It's already... son of a bitch. Motherfucker. He was going to have tusk powers. Actually, I don't even think manatees have tusks. I think this was a failure of marine biology.
They don't. Now he's just this fat dolphin floating around. It's like a mermaid, but it's fat.
What if his power is that he makes people believe in the idea of humanity?
Good God.
That he makes people more humanitarian just by being around.
Good
That's
God.
the Humanity.
Wow, that's sure. I'm going to say sure because what else are we going to do?
I mean, I had to salvage it now that I know the manatees don't have tusks. Fuck.
We would love to hear the type of characters that you could come up with, because clearly we can't do it.
I thought I had it.
All you have to do is use the hashtag DialDoc and send us your idea for a hero or a villain. Or send us a question. What's our next episode?
Next, I think I had like prematurely said we were going to do this theme, that we never did it. Next episode, we're going to do Order and Chaos.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. That was a while ago.
Never got around to it. We're actually going to do it next week.
Okay, well, that's good. So if you want to ask us a question or give us your dial doc or just nerd out with us on about DC stuff or general nerdy shit, right? All you have to do is reach out to us all through our various social media platforms, such as our Facebook,
Dr. DC Podcast,
Twitter,
Dr. DC,
Instagram,
Dr. DC Podcast,
email,
drdcpodcast@gmail.com,
or you can hang out on our subreddit,
r/Dr_DC.
Also, not only can you talk to us online, but you can also read some of our DC-specific articles that we haven't written in a really long time, or review or view our many wares. Khajiit has many wares. On our website,
drdcpodcast.com or .ca.
Don't forget to give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Give us that. And we're trying to get to, I don't even remember anymore. It's been so long.
30,
yeah. I've become so disillusioned.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's true. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. That really helps us out and helps us climb the charts, and we can get maybe some sponsorships and all that fun stuff. All you have to do is just go on there, create an account if you don't already have one. And if we get to 30 reviews, we will do a visual episode about art.
Yeah.
So it's not even about us anymore. Just don't you want to see an episode about art?
Yeah. Well, I figure you got to sweeten the deal a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Really just balancing the scales. You have to see us, but you get...
And if enough of you subscribe to our Patreon, we will wear shirts.
If not skins, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a threat. I'm hoping that is. We'll get more people on Patreon because they don't want to see us there.
That's a good idea. Speaking of Patreon, also subscribe to our Patreon.
That's right.
We are just about to do... have you seen Endgame yet? I don't know. We don't know how I feel about it at all.
Subscribe to our Patreon, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Whatever it takes.
What? You mean? That's right. We're about to do our review for Avengers Endgame, which is going to come out this Friday. So tomorrow, technically. So
short version, there were tears.
Yes. There's always tears whenever we meet up
in public in the dark.
Yeah. So subscribe to that. We've recently did a overview of Star Trek. We did one of Star Wars. Yep. We've done ones of video games about superheroes.
There's lots of DC and non-DC stuff on there.
That's right.
So every week, a whole bonus episode.
That's right. It's only $5 a month, and you get 4 episodes extra.
Yeah. And I mentioned it briefly, but we are participating this month in the JL May podcast crossover, which is all about Blackest Night, because it's the 10th anniversary of the series. So some podcasts are doing the main issues and some are doing some of the tie-ins. Our contribution will come out on May 15th. We're going to be talking about the Booster Gold tie-ins to Blackest Night.
Hell yeah.
But some of the other podcasts to check out, it's already started by the time you're listening to this, but Podcast of Oa, Chris and Reggie's Cosmic Treadmill, Fire and Water Podcast, Coffee and Comics, Lantern Cast, a bunch more that I can't remember. Apologies, but there's a ton. So check it out. Use the hashtag JLMay, and that'll be how you can find all of these cool episodes. And ours will come out mid-month.
Absolutely. So check that out. Subscribe to us on Patreon, and we'll be back next week. Same doc time, same doc channel.
Adios.
All the superheroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure. They are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.